Hello and welcome to Holly Wade Wellness, 30 Days of Yoga. And today we'll do just a short vinyasa, a very slow flow style of yoga, which is one of my favorites, and that's where we simply connect with our breath and our movement. And the reason I like flow is really because I just like to understand how my body's moving and to feel it and to play and explore, and that's really the whole point. It's just a matter of expressing our bodies within the pose. So let's go ahead and start with standing mountain, connecting those feet right underneath those hip bones, lifting up through those shoulders, lifting up through the front of the body, down through the back of the body, and bringing our gaze slightly up. Now feel free to close the eyes. And let's start to observe our breath. And let's just notice our belly rising and falling with our breath. Now begin to observe the full circumference of your rib cage, expanding as you inhale and coming in toward your body as you exhale. And now let's observe our feet and how they connect to the floor, this foundation that we have, making sure all 10 toes are connected to the floor, that we're lifting up into the arches of our feet, that our weight is floating right above those arches. We're not all the way in our heels and we're not forward onto our toes, but we're somewhere right in the middle. And now let's just notice our right and left sides of our body. Are we pressing down more on one foot than the other? And if so, let's see if we can just really subtly even out our weight between our right and our left sides. Let's begin to connect with our breath, and on the inhale, sweeping those arms up to the sides, and on the exhale, pulling those elbows in toward the body. Prayer hands come to heart center. And when we're ready to inhale, we sweep those arms, and when we're ready to exhale, we pull those arms back in. We'll try one more. Breath in, full expression up. And as we exhale, using those triceps as we pull down toward the middle of our bodies. Stopping at heart center. Taking a moment to connect into our heart. And then gently blinking those eyes open if we haven't already. So let's start with a little forward fold. Let me turn sideways so you can observe my body alignment. So inhaling as we sweep up. As we exhale, the spine is long. We're bending from the hips, not the back. So we're bending from the hips, softening those knees, and connecting the rib cage to the thighs. Placing our hands on the floor, bending those knees, pressing into the feet, Inhaling to rise. And as we exhale, swan diving into that forward fold. Relaxing the head and neck. Always supporting our bodies. Bending those knees, pressing into those feet. And making sure that when we press into those feet, it's equal. Just observing those real subtle differences in our bodies. So even when we hinge, sometimes it's really minor, but we'll hinge on one side first, then the other. So let's just observe those hips, observe those feet, and make sure that we're moving evenly through each side. One more time. Moving into flowing chair. So from here, we just come into a seated position as if we're starting to sit in a chair. But notice my back is long and my tailbone is tucked underneath. My belly is pulled in and all 10 toes are on the floor. I'm not sitting back on my heels like in a squat. It's a little more forward. Heart is lifted. We inhale and rise. Same thing, pressing into those feet. Exhaling as we sit into that chair. Pressing into those feet and expanding to rise. Exhaling to sit in that chair. Inhaling to rise. Now as you sit back this time, just glance down at those knees and make sure they track over those toes, that they're not flailing in or out, but that everything is even. That way we're working the inner and outer thighs evenly, creating muscle balance in our bodies, which is ultimately what we want. We're trying to create this openness and balance, right? And one more time, and then we'll hold seated. So holding right here. Those arms can be in front or at prayer. And if you'd like, you can even try to come up onto those toes and roll back down when you're ready. Hold for 2 more breaths. One more time, and exhaling and aligning, standing back up, beautiful. Let's go ahead and do a little spinal mobility. So inhaling up, and placing one hand on the hip, or keeping those fingertips straight up, and we interlace those fingers. I call them Charlie's Angel's fingers. Go ahead and reach over to your right side. Actually, it would be your left, it's my right. So we're reaching on over and we're actually pointing those fingers as if we're trying to touch the ceiling. So we're getting this nice opening down the side of the body, which also allows us to open up those meridians of the body that are used in Chinese medicine or acupuncture, those kinds of things. One more breath in and out, and as we inhale, we rise. As we exhale, we hinge to the other side, lifting up through the ribs, reaching those fingertips toward the ceiling, and pressing down into that left foot, making sure it didn't lift up. And again, if you want another option, you can always rest your hand on your hip. One more breath in and out. On the exhale, rising up, beautiful, coming right back to center. So let's take those feet out and they point toward the corners of your mat. So knees and toes and hips are all rotating out. There we go. Excellent. So let's go ahead and go into Moonflower. So the arms extend out as if we're a star, and we're expanding our bodies as much as we can. As we exhale, we draw those elbows into the body and we lower down, inhaling, pushing into those feet, expanding. Exhaling as we pull everything into the side of the body. So think about expressing yourself and exploding out and away from your spine. And then as you come in, you're pulling everything in as tight as you can toward that spine. So we're strengthening the lats as we pull in. And life is like this, expansion and contraction, right? That's how we grow. So let's go ahead and switch into Sunflower. So from here, the lower body stays the same. The arms open up, and we just brush the ground. If you keep your spine straight or choose to curve, it doesn't matter on this one. So we're just touching and brushing the floor. Inhaling to rise, opening up those petals. And we're connecting with our breath, going at the pace that we need to. Now, some days when I've had that kind of a day, this one feels really good, and I just kind of throw energy into the ground. So you can choose to express this pose however you need to. And this time we'll stay down on the floor. So we'll stay right here in a little sumo squat if possible. The elbows are actually on the insides of my thighs, and this is option 1. Now, if it's possible for you, you can bring those feet in a little bit and come into a full sumo squat, or an Asian squat is what we refer to it, but it's also called gate pose in yoga language. So I'm pressing my elbows on those inner thighs and inner thighs into my elbows and lengthening out through the spine, lifting up through the heart. Let's enjoy one more breath. Ah, beautiful. Now, if you are up, go ahead and ease on out of it. Shake out those legs for a moment, but keep those toes turned out. Actually, change that. Toes point to the front, excuse me. Excellent. So nice wide stance, and let's take it to a standing straddle. So we're hinging from the hips, placing those hands on the floor so that we are supported, and dropping the top of our head toward the floor. Keeping those knees soft, outer edges of the feet touching the mat. And we're just breathing in and out at our normal pace. One more breath in and out. On the inhale, place those hands at the hips, soften the knees. On the exhale, slowly rise. And let's give ourselves a moment while we're standing up before we move on. Beautiful. Shake out the legs, roll through those ankles, whatever you need to do, take care of you, always, always. And let's move into just a little balance for tonight or today. So we'll start in our warrior, and we'll transition from here. So moving into warrior 3, we shift our weight onto our standing leg, flex through that foot, and start to hinge until we find our balance point. Now we might choose to do airplane arms or back, it doesn't matter. So choose what you need to. And when you're ready, ease on out of that pose. Excellent. Let's try it on the other side. Let me come with you. So the other foot is forward. We're in warrior 1. When you're ready, shift your weight to your front foot. Floating on up into warrior 3. Whichever arms you choose. And easing out of that pose when we're ready. Beautiful. Awesome, awesome. Let's go ahead and come down to the floor. We're about ready to wrap it up. So let's move into a little cat-cow and mobilize the spine just a little bit here. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. I almost said knees under the toes. That was, whoo! Apparently I'm filming a little too late tonight. On that breath in, draw that belly into neutral position. On the exhale, curl on through, drop the head and the tailbone. Opening up the back of the body. Inhaling to open up through the front of the body. And we're just connecting back and forth between cat and cow. Mobilizing the spine and just enjoying the feeling of a nice, fluid, mobile spine. One more time. And let's go ahead and take those knees out, pressing back in child's pose. So let's do a little shifting from child's pose into our modified plank. So we practiced these with sun salutations. Exhaling as we lower back. And on our inhale, we press into those hands, use those triceps and the belly to shift our weight fully forward until the heart is between the hands. Exhaling on the way back. Now, if you'd like to take it a little deeper, you can go from a full plank into downward facing dog. And you really shouldn't have to move your hands or feet once you're planted. You should be able to just float between your plank and your downward dog. And we'll do one more. Just staying in our downward dog. So if you're in child's pose, go ahead and come on up into your downward dog. Feel free to start to pedal those feet. So 1 foot at a time, pressing into the mat. And if you just need to spend a little time on one side, go right ahead. Stay here for a couple of breaths if you need to, and then move on however you need to. Settling right back into our downward dog. And let's just go ahead and take 1 foot up toward the sky, open up that hip, and go ahead and turn that hip toward the outside of the body. So this is the beginning of a pose called Wild Thing. It's one that I find really fun. Coming back to center and lowering down, and then we'll try it on the other side. So we extend the other foot up, go ahead and bend the knee, press back and open up that hip. Turning to the side, coming back to center, coming back into our downward dog, and gently easing back into child's pose. Excellent. Let's go ahead and roll over onto our backs. And we'll just enjoy being on this side for a little bit to wrap it up. And let's just finish with a little twist, pulling the right knee into the chest, holding the back of the thigh, opening the right arm out to the side, and then bringing that leg across the body. Taking a breath in and exhaling as we come back to center. Switching sides, pulling the other knee into our chest. And go ahead and rotate over to the other side. Opening up the low back, opening up the chest, squeezing those digestive organs just a little bit and helping things to move along. And maybe some other things. Who knew? Big breath in. Exhale as we come back to center. And just go ahead and take a moment to tuck both knees into the chest. Feel free to roll side to side. Circle the hips or just relax for a few moments. And when you're ready, go ahead and move into your stillness for today, your Shavasana. Whether that's full corpse pose or the true Shavasana, hands can even rest on your belly. If it feels good to really express and move into that star pose, if you've got a power meeting that you need to attend today, this could be a good power position. If this bothers your low back, bring those knees up, rest them on a blanket, or even take your legs up the wall or on some furniture. So whatever it is, just allow yourself to fully relax and give yourself what you need for the next few minutes. Closing the eyes. Observing our breath. And observing that wave of breath as we inhale, and that breath kind of flows into the chest, the belly, and then the hips respond by rising just a little. And as we exhale, the hips relax, the belly softens, the heart melts back, the throat opens, and the breath leaves our body. And today, go ahead and take yourself to your mind's eye, to that little movie screen right at the front of your brain, right behind your forehead. And simply observe a little flame. Just notice that there's this little single candle in a dark space. That little flame creates light. And that candle spreads its light to another candle's wick. And now there are 2 candles in that room. And there's a little more of a glow. And then another candle is lit. And that glow lights up just a little more. And there are rows and rows of candles, and the wicks keep lighting. And all these little flames continue to ignite. And as they do, that dark room is lighter and brighter, until there's very little darkness at all. Now just imagine that you are holding that first candle. That flame goes into your heart and ignites you with kindness and love and generosity and joy and peace and understanding, wisdom, courage, so that as you go everywhere that you need to go today, that light is spread to the next person. And it continues to multiply till this little flame has lit up your entire community. And that's how we become light. That's how we are light in the world. Come back to your breath for just a few breaths. Enjoy that full breath in, the pause, and the full breath out. And with one more breath in and out, begin to allow yourself to come back and gently wiggle fingers and toes and stretch and reach in whatever way that you need to. Just kind of like you do when you wake up in the morning. Take your time to ease to a side. Rest there for a few moments, for as long as you need. And then use those arms and that top leg to ease up to a seated position. Awesome. I hope you are energized and ready to go for the day. I hope that you are light and love wherever you go today. I honor your practice and I honor you for showing up. Namaste. Have a great day.